Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest weird and wild episode of the Switch It Up show. And I say that to you, my friends, because our guy Glenn and I have got two wild ones today. What are you doing today, my friend Glenn?
Today I'm going to be talking about Vampire the Masquerade.
In NY?
Yeah, it's I'm gonna butcher this word. I think it's Coteries of New York.
Coterie.
I don't know. Correct
the
me.
Midnight Coterie.
Let us know over on that Switch It
Let
Up
us
show.
know how to pronounce.
Tell me how to read.
While we ruminate on that pronunciation, we're gonna let these sweet beats ride. Mana Gucci, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as I said, today we're doing some weird ones, and this is one of the weirdest games I have ever played. It is Sea Fledge, a daughter-raising simulator. It is $19.99, and if you think you're going to be as uncomfortable as you were with Seabed playing a daughter-raising simulator, you're mistaken, because this is actually a pretty fun game. Raise the future in the year 3716. I don't know if that's how you'd say that. 3716. Humanity lives under constant risk of ruin from a colossal alien threat known only as Gigant. Fleeing its destruction, a mysterious young girl arrives on Arc 3, a magnificent city built in the sky. Seal Fledge is a game about raising an adopted daughter in a future world that still has hope. Featuring compelling management gameplay and a lovable cast of characters, it's up to you to take care of Seal until she reaches adulthood and becomes ready to fledge the nest.
I love how it says in a future world that still has hope. They're like, we've given up here, but in this
given up this.
It's okay.
Your current world in 2020 is hopeless. But 3716, whoo-wee, sunshine and rainbows out there. You can schedule, you can supervise, you can battle, you can grow, you can customize, you can explore, and you can unwind. There's long descriptions for all of those aspects of the game, and a little too long for this review. The publisher is P-Cube, and it's developed by Studio Namapa. So, initially, when you start out on Seal Fledge, and I don't know if that's how you pronounce the name, it's C-I-E-L. I think it's Seal. I think they said it was Seal. I honestly don't remember at this point. But you start out, you meet, you're essentially the father, and you're meeting her. What you do from there is make up all these wild decisions about her creativity, her artistic nuances, if she has certain motivations, certain aspirations, and then you start raising her for a while, and you have to choose between either scolding her with certain things or allowing her to be spoiled or just being normal. You can overwork her and she'll straight up pass out for like 4 days, which is a little like what? It's one of the best aspects of this game is that you can make a lot of different choices that affect this game in wild ways, and they affect her as she grows up. Like she can become like a ballerina or an artist or like an army kind of brat looking kind of lady, doctor, like a badass, like that kind of stuff. Like it's cool. It's really cool that there's so many different options. And there's a surprising amount of gameplay styles in here. Like you really have to manage your time well, and leveling her up and gaining her experiences the way you want, sort of like The Sims, except with just a calendar aspect and then conversations with friends, which I guess is an awful lot like The Sims. But there's also like sort of a role playing, more of an RPG fighting element to it at times, where you have to sort of do test questions or do like rhythm game, mini game type things. It's all very, very surprising and interesting. It's odd, it's wild, and it's a ton of hours of interesting fun. So I am going to give Seal Fledge, the daughter raising simulator, a 4.5 out of 5.
4.5 out of 5, my man. That's like high. That's super high praise. That's almost perfection, if you will.
It is, and I tend to give a better score for uniqueness. I want to say, if you have learned anything about me in these over 120 episodes of the Switch It Up show,
that's crazy.
I think it's 120. We're getting close. If you learned anything about me in all these episodes, so that I tend to enjoy the effort, and anything that can sort of surprise you and keep you engaged and wanting to just focus on that one game, especially in today's world, where you've got so much stuff just hitting you at all times. And you know me, I'm a 3-screen kind of guy. This game was neat and interesting enough that I was zoned in on it. And I give high praise to that.
Awesome, my man. Well, I'm going to try my best to follow that up, because this one's definitely a little bit different. And that is Vampire the Masquerade Coteries, I believe is what you told me, of New York.
Coterie?
You go ahead. Take a stab.
Coterie.
Coterie.
The midnight coterie
right here.
Of something stranger.
Coterie. Here we go. Here it is. Hold on. Hush it up, Mr. Trav. Ready?
Coterie.
Hey, coterie.
A small group of people with shared interests or tastes, especially one that is exclusive of other people, which comes into play very well, considering you are a vampire. This game is $13.99 on the eShop. Get 70 gold coins when you purchase it. It's on sale. It's normally $20 game. Let me go ahead and hit you with a little bit of the synopsis here. Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York presents the conflict between two vampiric factions, the traditionalist Caramelia and the fiercely independent Anarchs. It is a unique, atmospheric, single-player narrative experience set in the rich universe of Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition. Choose one of 3 predefined characters. Play as a Venture, a Trotador, or a Bruja. Each playable character offers a selection of powers or disciplines, different ethical approaches to certain issues, and unique dialogue lines. Character-oriented quests allow you to meet 4 unique NPCs: a sorcerer, a detective, and a gangrel of conflicted loyalties, and a Machiavellian Multifonte online personality with their own agenda. And they're really throwing a lot of big words in here. Win their hearts and minds, and up to 2 of them will assist you in the finale. Depending on your choice of the clan, you will be able to see the events from a distinct perspective. One playthrough is not enough to see all the game has to offer. This game came out towards the end of March. Takes up a pretty good amount of space. You're looking at about 3 gigs, so hopefully you have one of those larger the SD cards. But the price of $13.99 is nice. Now, they say it's a narrative, story-driven experience, and they are not kidding, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and say this is like a visual novel, I think, for maybe people who haven't played like one of the more like traditional Japanese visual novels. So if you're looking to kind of get your feet wet in that type of game, this might be a good one to try it out with. Specifically, also, if you like the theme of the vampires. Basically, you do get to kind of select a couple different characters when you first start the game, and you kind of have your first experience with a vampire, and you start to basically learn that you were bit, and then it comes down to you're making all the choices as the story is unfolding for you. I'm talking you're choosing something, the next part's coming. You're choosing it, the next part's coming. The gameplay is in fact you choosing all of the plot, essentially. It's kind of like choose your own adventure, but on steroids. So that you guys should probably are familiar by now with episode 120. We've done a lot of visual novels, so this is very much up that alley. And it's pretty interesting to kind of find out, when you make your choice of what type of person you are in the beginning of the game. And then when you start to kind of learn about the different vampiric factions, kind of which one you want to investigate more. There are some vampires that are very well-to-do, high society in New York. Then there's a hacker set of vampires, and there's another one that are kind of rough and tough. And then there's more traditional vampires, and then there's these new vampires that everybody thinks are posers and they hate them. And it's all you kind of
Poser vampires.
Yeah, seriously, they look down upon them. And you kind of basically as a newly minted vampire. One vampire basically decides that they're going to take you under their wing and teach you all about being a vampire. Kind of show you the ropes, talk to you all about feeding and things like that. And it really comes. It's like Vampire Life 101 simulator, basically.
Nice.
With the backstory of how the vampire factions work, how they interact, and you kind of get to choose your own life as a vampire and how you want to, live it. But it's cool to check out all the different factions. I think it's really neat. But this is a game that would be absolutely amazing if there was voice acting to it, because there's not. And that's one of the things that I feel visual novels, especially the ones that do it well, they make you feel like you're reading a book, or maybe even sometime watching a movie if the story's good enough, and you really get pulled into it. And sometimes when you're really pulled into it like that, I just want the narration there. That way it would feel another layer, and they don't do that in this game, which is it's just something kind of sad. Although to be fair, there's not really a lot of visual novels with this much story and this much reading going on, because this is very much a novel in a way, that do have that narration. So it's not like this is an outlier. It's just I guess it just comes with I don't know, the type of game that it is. Maybe you don't have the resources to be able to do that. The game would probably be way bigger in size, scope, and cost more money as well. But the gameplay on this is solid. The controls are super easy to learn, because you're really not, you're not really fighting or anything like that in this. You're going through menu screens, reading your, they give you a glossary of all your vampiric terms as you learn them, which is neat to be able to refer to. But it's very much you checking in with all the other vampires and all the different, all the different factions. If you really like it kind of reminds me of the diplomacy in Civilization. When you would pull that up and you'd be talking to the people, they'd be like, oh, how's this going? And but it's cool. I like this game. It's fun. For $13.99, it's definitely I feel like it's definitely a deal, especially for the amount of content that you're getting. And normally these visual novels tend to be a little bit more expensive. And if you're looking for a visual novel that's not anime themed, because it seems like a lot of those type of games definitely follow an anime type of theme. And if that's maybe not your thing, or you think it might not be your thing, this might be something for you to try out, and it might kind of open your eyes to that type of game. So Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. I did it again. Here, I still got it up. Hold on. We're going to fix it.
Coteries.
There we go. Thank you, Google.
How do you pronounce it?
I said Coteries. I was trying to, you know what? I chose to be in the high society vampire clan, so I'm very much I'm Coteries.
You chose to be in the high society.
I did. I was I'm in. I'm ready. let me rule the night in these limos, and you do.
Over here with the Staten Island pronunciation of coterie.
But I like this game. $13.99, rated M on the eShop. And I'm going to go ahead and give this is good. I enjoy this game. We're going to give this a 4. We're going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. This is fun. It's a fun game. It's just there's a lot. It's a lot here, which is awesome, because you get several different characters to play through. It's just it could be so much better. I think it's a good gateway drug, if you will, into the visual novel, which is what makes me happy to maybe give it a little bit of a higher score.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of this
4.5
game.
all around for some of the more unique games that we've had the luxury of playing on the Nintendo Switch. Seal Fledge for the insane many replayable options at creating and raising a daughter. And of course, the Vampire Masquerade Coterie of New York.
Coterie.
Midnight soliloquy nonsense, where you choose to be a high-class vampire or regular old vampire trash. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. If any of that got weird, you can let us know over at Switch It Up Show, at PreachCast, at Seth Trav, and at From the Crib. All day, every day, ladies and gentlemen. As we always say, if things ever get boring, you can always switch it up.